brought to my attention today, and I just want to bring it to the board's attention because I do not like at all how this took place, and I don't have the proper words that a lot of y'all use, but I think it was very disrespectful. And I know, Mr. Bartley, you've probably already taken care of the situation, but we had 4 kids that were not allowed to wear their tassel, I don't know what you call it, over their graduation gowns to signify that these kids were going into the military. And for some reason that I can't even fathom, they were not allowed to show or even given a chance to let people know that these kids are actually, you know, they're going in to defend us, and I think it's wrong. I think that we should publicly show these kids off. I don't know how we need to do it or what we need to do to make it right, but I think it was very disrespectful. And these kids deserve just as much recognition as any kid that got a $100,000 scholarship to go to school. Hey, I'm very upset about it.
I agree. I spoke with Mr. Bartlett a little bit about it. I think, like you said, it's been handled, it's been addressed. Now, I wish that we could repair it, fix it, what took place, but I know that that's not possible. However, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of ways, and you brought up the fact that we need to showcase them or highlight them some way, and maybe Ms. Taylor can help us with that, possibly. I don't know who they are, but we can maybe find out.
I don't know who they are.
I'm sure Ms. Taylor can find out who they are easily, or we can let her know, and
I do not know who these kids are.
That doesn't matter. Right?
And I don't care.
Right.
What school is that at?
Senior
high. But, you know, what I guess really aggravated me, you had other kids up there, and I understand you're going to have your valedictorian, salutatorian. You know, that's a given at any school. But those same kids were allowed to wear their 4-H rope, green rope, but these kids that are enlisting were not allowed to wear a camouflage, I don't know what you call them, tassel, scarf, sash,
S-T-O-L-E.
Okay, well, they were not allowed to wear theirs, and it doesn't matter whether it was discussed beforehand or what. If we're gonna follow policy, you know, then there wasn't any mask on the kids. There wasn't any mask on any of them. Half the parents did. I'm not worried about the mask. It doesn't bother me that they didn't. But those kids should have been recognized just as much as that valedictorian or that salutatorian or that kid wearing the 4-H sash. Did they get a scholarship for 4-H? No, that's all extracurricular. These kids have signed up to protect us, and they were not allowed to show their pride in doing that.
Did they give them a reason when they asked who they were?
I don't know. I'd like to know that answer myself.
Well, there's been an issue. There's been an issue with their cord wearings for several years. You know, when Lauren and them, I mean, they weren't allowed to wear their 4-H deals and everything also.
Well, I know they were this year, the 4-H thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I don't care.
I agree.
I don't care if it's camouflage. I don't care if it's pink. I don't care what color it is.
I think we need to make
if it signifies what that kid has earned or an accomplishment that he's doing, then they should be able to wear it. And if we need to set that as a policy, then let's do it. But I don't see where
moving forward, and we may need to adopt a resolution so we can make sure that happens and that mistake is not made again. And that may be something that we need to address in our what is our policy? We have what is that committee called? Policy.
His school, school.
Anyway, we'll get the right committee for that next committee meeting. We'll address that, and I think it does need to be adopted as a resolution from the board or a policy change set from the board for that. Mr. Partner, I assume we can provide the names of those students for Ms. Taylor? Can we do that?
I think so.
Ms. Taylor, you'll help us out with that? Because they do need to be recognized.
I mean, I wanna know if that situation has been handled, if it's been addressed, and was there an excuse for that? To me, there was no excuse, there's nothing valid enough for that.
So we have to be careful about what we,
Well, I understand that, and I ain't said any names or anything else, but
but I'm just cautious,
I'll share with the board what I know. This was brought to my attention 5:30 right now, about 4 hours ago. And I went to the school, visited with the principal of the school. And this is what I found out that happened. It's my understanding that these students were recognized with the honor of being inducted into, or going to be inducted in the military at the awards night. I was not at the award night, I don't know then, but I'm almost positive that's what was told me. Secondly, the students were told what they could wear at the graduation. And there was no indication at any time other than right before the graduation was to begin, a few minutes, that the recruiter showed up with these stoles and said he'd like for the kids to wear them, talking to the principal. I understand that there was some serious conversation between the recruiter and the principal. And the decision was made not to allow them to wear them, that she would put them in their packet that they take home with them. And this is information, factual stuff that, as my memory, I hadn't had a chance to write down and do a formal, memo at all with this. But she did not, the principal did not allow them to wear the stoles. And that was upsetting to a lot of people. And I thoroughly understand that. So the board will know the Wynn Parish school system does not have a detailed policy that says that senior graduating can wear this, that, or whatever. As a matter of fact, wearing anything is a tradition. These students could come to that place of graduation with a coat and tie on, or a pair of slacks and a white shirt, or a spirit shirt, or whatever, and receive a high school diploma. And it would be legal for that to take place. There's no legality. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, only by tradition do we graduate in a setting like that. Because we could give the graduated person, give the diploma, and they could be just as graduated there. That is an activity that we provide. The board approves us to have activities like that. And it is because it's not a policy as to who wears what, or whether it be red, pink, blue, or purple gowns, or the hats built different. None of that is written for any in the parish-wide. But we have, through tradition, have given the principal the authority and responsibility to decide what they're going to do at the schools. And tradition has it that most of the schools wear the colors and so forth and so on. Some schools allow their to wear cords that are the color of the school. Some schools allow them to wear honor stoles. Some schools say if you're in beta, you can wear another something kind of stole. Some schools allow 4-H, some don't. To be honest with you, I didn't pay a lot of attention. I tell you, graduation night is really hectic. The fact that out there that was going to be in the stadium and then move to the auditorium, I sat behind the curtain so all the students could be on the stage, graduates could be on the stage. Not only I, but the principal, guidance counselor, and the two assistant principals. So I didn't observe or see a whole lot about what they were wearing. I knew nothing about any of this until sometime around lunchtime or a little after. I think I met with Dr. Griffin about 2 o'clock. But because of the rigor and the rigidity of trying to keep decorum and proper stuff, she didn't feel like she needed to change anything a few minutes prior to graduation. So she said I did not allow it. So that's the story behind that. If this had been brought to her attention a week or two ago, and I'm not defending or saying anything, I'm just trying to put myself, sometimes I try to do that, put myself in the shoes of the people who have to make decisions. If she had known this 2 weeks ago, a week or two ago, probably she might have got some opinions and probably may have changed what she decided to do. So it's not like she broke a rule that the board has or a rule that the school has, because this is something that had never been done. And it just happened this year. And I feel for the people who did not get the recognition of choosing to be in the military. I appreciate those young men. I guess it was all young men. I appreciate those who are going into the military. I really do. But that's what I know about it. And I haven't done anything more than that other than telling Dr. Griffin we need to look in the future and make sure that we cover those situations. But I just don't remember stoles like that being worn at the other graduations. Maybe it's because we didn't have anybody that's going to be going in the military. I don't know. But that's what I know about it. And certainly I'm very apologetic to someone, families and people of these young men, and I hope that they understand the situation. But that's all I know about what took place.
Well, I doubt very seriously that they understand, but maybe they will understand that we have to correct it moving forward and that we will do everything that we can with Ms. Taylor to honor them. I don't know of anything else that we can do at this point as far as honoring them and as honoring them. I definitely think that we need to, it's disappointing to me that we have to set policy for something like this here. But that's the nature of the beast. But I don't mind us doing that. But it's a shame that we have to set policy that will say we're going to honor any military people that's going into military service.
Mr. Carter, I'm not arguing with you. There's two sides to every story, and that's fine, and I understand that.
But
and I don't care if it was
Leah, I'm just presenting the facts.
I understand that.
No defense on my part for anybody.
But it really, just to me, it doesn't matter if it was 2 weeks or 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. That's an accomplishment for those kids, and you were the first one to tell us that any kid that does good in this parish needs to be recognized. And you're the first one to tell us that. And I know you told it to all the principals. Every one of those kids, that's an accomplishment. It's a milestone for them. It's just as much like going to college as it is for the other kids. These kids are going to fight for us. And that, to me, was the wrong decision to be made. And I don't care if it was 5 minutes. I feel like it should have been a guarantee. If that's what y'all want to do, I don't have a problem with it. That's my opinion of it. I'm just letting you know that I don't agree with what happened at all, and I don't care whose fault it was.
I don't think anybody around this table disagrees with you.
But those kids need to be recognized also.
Absolutely. That's why we're working with Taylor to do everything we can to recognize.
It's one thing that we can't do, we can't turn back the hands of time and do it again.
Well, I understand that, Mr. Farley, but there's no way, there's nobody at this board that can tell me they have never been to a college graduation where a child has entered in the military that was not recognized. I've been to 2 out-of-parish graduations this year, and every kid was recognized for joining the military. We had one last year at Dotson. They were recognized, they were allowed to wear what they needed to wear. You know, that's pride for them. And I'm proud for them. And there's nobody that can tell me that there's not a kid from Winfield that's graduated that's never gone into the military that has not been recognized. Nobody can tell me that's never happened. And I do not understand, after all of the years, why all of a sudden this year, we don't know nothing about it. We don't know if we can do that. What? Why would we not do that? That's the problem. I'm very upset about it. And I want something to be done for these kids to be recognized. Whether Ms. Taylor has to do it, whether we have to put it in the Wynn Parish Enterprise, whether we bring these kids up here and recognize them, I don't care how it's done. But I want those kids recognized because they are given the ultimate.
I agree. I don't have a problem with bringing them up here. I know that I definitely would like to see Ms. Taylor do a story about just where they're serving, what they're doing. I mean, I don't have a problem with us having them here, and having the recruiter come.
Well, I attended all the graduations, and I want to make sure that if there are others, we may have that going on, something that gone on somewhere else. Make sure that this is the only four, so we don't have any at Dodson, Calvin, Atlanta. It's not the same situation.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I've never seen it done at Calvin, but I certainly think that it should be. You know, we've had something that's going on to be in the. Well, let me take that back. They were given a military scholarship. Now there wasn't. I don't know them how.
But it's, I mean, because they enlisted.
I do.
But their achievements, their academics were still recognized. And I'm aware that these kids were recognized at their award ceremony.
At Calvin, they don't have an award ceremony. They do it all at graduation.
Well, you know, but they should have been allowed to wear their stole or tassel or scarf, whatever you call it, at graduation. And if we as a board need to set some kind of policy on that, then that's exactly what we need to do so that these kids are recognized.
We'll have it in the next committee meeting on that, whichever committee we feel like that needs to go. So we'll do that.
That's all I have. Thank y'all.